G'day guys. Alright, now I'm bringing you two different looks in one video. It was a little bit difficult for me to figure out, but I got there in the end. Alright, so what I'm using here is I've just combined some black paint with a really old bottle of, it's called Deco Art Media and it's called Liquid Glass. It's kind of like an off, it's its own brand of glossy accents. That's what this is. I've just added some black paint to it so I can make squigglies all the way around the outside to create a border. So that's what I'm doing, and it gives you a 3D effect because it sits up nice and high and it dries almost like a puff paint. You know, imagine what your glossy accents sets like, you know, it sets kind of high. So that's what this does as well. Now, the reason I added black paint to the whole tube is because, well, to be honest, it's old and it's nearly dead. So it doesn't dry clear anymore. So I figured before it dies completely, I'm going to try and do something with it and see if it works. And it did. So I'm very big with stuff like that. Now, I don't like throwing away a product. Okay, the black is dry, FYI. The black, I ended up doing 2 pages with 2 very similar squigglies all the way around the outside. And these are my Distress Oxides, and I'm just using them as a water paint. So you can use your watercolors, you could use, what else could you use? Anything that you use as a medium. You could do your watercolor ink brush markers, you could use your palette paints, you could use, I don't know if you could use alcohol markers. I probably wouldn't be inclined to use them, but maybe give it a go. Maybe I should have given it a quick shot and seen if it worked or not, but I just wanted to use a different range of my oxides all on one page. You know, not using the packaging technique, just using them slightly differently. So you probably remember when you were a child doing something similar to this with paint. Now, if you don't have liquid glue, I can tell you there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can add modeling paste. I've done it with modeling paste. Texture paste. You can add that to just a Snap-Lock bag with the color of your choice, mix it together and add it to your Snap-Lock bag. You don't have to do black. I did black so it was a black and white contrast, if that makes, you know what I mean? I quite often, and of late, you've seen half a dozen of my recent videos, they've all been just making my own background. I've just been in the mood to do that, and I thought maybe this would give some of my viewers the courage to give it a crack. It's only cardboard. It's the tiniest amount of color. So the colors that I've used on this one is Spun Sugar, Picked Raspberry, Worn Lipstick, and Abandoned Coral. So very girly, pinky colors, because, you know, my kids, they're quite often, that's what they're dressed in, pinks and whatnot. In their early years, they're not anymore like that, but you know. So I'm just going around the outside edge. I apologize if you can hear that water. Guess what? You're never going to believe it. It's raining in Queensland. Shock horror. Bet you would never have guessed. Crying out loud. And it's pouring rain. It's crazy. Anyway. So I go around with all these. Now, what I've got these sitting on, this is my old mat that was underneath that I've used for like 12 months, 6 months, 12 months. And I had cut through it so many times. I had so much washi tape on it. I thought, oh, I'll buy a new one. And you know what? All the new ones, the Teflon mats, they're not the same. Because this one that I'm using here that I cut in half, because one half was really dead, it's like, excuse me, it's got a plastic coating on it. So it's actually waterproof. It doesn't go through it, but except for where I've cut it. You know, I mean, come on. We all do silly things in a craft room, am I right? That's what it's for. So then I decided I would go around just with a wide brush and just create a wash of colour. Not in your face colour, but just a little bit. Just on the inside, just create a bit of colour, a bit of depth on the inside of it. Now, I have sped this up quite a lot, and that's because you can see what I'm doing when it's really, really sped up. So it's no big deal. These are two similar but different pages, and I just wanted to show you in one video. So this is why I've sped it up. It is actually sped up 8 times, which is insanely fast. And I don't normally speed my videos up that fast, but because this process did take a little bit of time, I mean, it was fun. It was relaxing. It was like paint by numbers. That relaxing. And I needed it because my mother-in-law now has COVID, and my father-in-law has COVID, and my nephew has COVID who lives with them because my good Lord, my husband's sister is what I'm trying to get out of my mouth. She sadly passed away unexpectedly about 9 years ago. And so now my nephews live with my in-laws. And unfortunately, they seem to have brought COVID home from high school. So my 80-year-old father-in-law and my 81-year-old mother-in-law, fully vaccinated. Not that this is a forum for vaccinated or unvaccinated. But yeah, so they're struggling a little bit at the moment, and it's a bit stressful. So I thought a paint by numbers would be a wonderful thing to do. So now what I'm doing a blue one. So this is the second page that I did. And I'm using tumbled glass, that's the lightest blue. Then broken china, Mermaid, Lagoon, and Uncharted Marina, which is the new latest Tim Holtz distress oxide that's been brought out. I absolutely love that colour. Oh wow, I adore it. It is so beautiful. It's deep and it's dark and it's moody, and it's just, yeah, I absolutely love it. So I decided, rightio, give it a crack. Let's go pinks and blues. Let's see what happens. So this is where all that ink sitting there, I did not want to get rid of that. There was no way. And this is the tumbled glass that I just go around the outside edge with, and just to give that complete border look. That's what I sort of run with. It was a lot easier the second time. The first time, I don't know why, but I kept panicking that the black was going to run. So stupid. It doesn't run. It sets perfectly, and yeah, and it didn't take long to set up either. So I'm really, really happy that I didn't waste my liquid glass. And yeah, so what's everyone up to today? Let me know. Drop a comment down below. If you're here in Australia, I did have a lady, who was it? Was it Karen? No. Was it Jill? Not sure who made the comment. Someone had 2 degrees yesterday. 2 degrees. Whew. It's Australia, mate. We don't get that cold. Well, definitely not in Queensland anyway. Down in Melbourne and Tassie, sure. But boy, oh boy, that's a bit chilly. So then I've made the comment, wow, it doesn't get that cold here, blah, blah. Yeah, right. Guess what? I woke up this morning and it's pouring rain and miserable, and my youngest daughter's going off to high school today I don't even know what they're doing. They're sussing it out, working out if they like what the high school offers. I don't know. Usually they do this later in the year. They don't normally do it so early, so I'm a little bit perplexed as to why they're going down there today, but that's all right. She's nervous as the poor little munchkin. She's so nervous. It's hilarious. But, I mean, we were all there. And the thing is, my youngest, she is the tiniest little pocket rocket you've ever seen. She's my gymnast. And boy, oh boy, is she tiny. Woo! So she's a bit nervous. That's all right. She'll get there. Okay, so here I tried to be all dramatic and create a bit of drama in that middle photo. It didn't work. Then I realized my photos were too big, and then I thought, nah, I'll do it like this. And then so I've mounted these on just plain white cardstock. This is just my El Cheapo cardstock that I've used on my backgrounds. It's the Poppy Craft 12 by 12 flat white, plain white cardstock. That's all it is. And that's what I've mounted my photos on as well. And I just run around the outside of my photos with an ink dauber. And the blue one I went around with Uncharted Marina. And it gives it a nice border. No pen required. Now these stickers, I've had them for so long. I absolutely love them. But I always wanted to use them in a dramatic way. I wanted to use them to use as many of them as I could on a layout. And guess what? These 2 pages, bam, perfect. So one is called Monster Trucks and Edith. If you're not a Marvel fan, if you are a Marvel fan, you'll probably get this. Edith are the glasses that are on that middle truck. If you're not a Marvel fan, I'll explain. So one of the main characters in the Avengers is Tony Stark and or Iron Man. Go through all the series, watch everything. I'm a Marvel junkie. I absolutely love them. And I hate science fiction, but I love Marvel. Marvel anything. Spider-Man, Hulk, all of it. I don't know why. It's just, yeah. So that's what Edith is. It's their set of glasses I bought for Jennifer for Christmas, and yeah, Angela put it on her Max D truck. It was pretty cute. No, actually I think Max D was Jen's. So here's a close-up, guys. This is what it turned out like. Don't worry about the white glue, it dries clear. And yeah, I was going to go and do some pen work and whatnot, but I think it's busy enough. So I just wanted to show you, this is what it could look like if you did pink tones. This is what it could look like if you do blue tones. And the 2 sitting side by side, they'll go in my scrapbook perfectly. And I do my journaling afterwards, after I take all my photos and so forth. And there you go. So I hope you enjoyed it. It is something a little different to do 2 different pages like that. But give it a crack. Jump over to my Facebook group and let me know if you give it a go. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, I would love you to do so. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.